What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another episode on the Falcon YouTube channel. Hope everyone's doing great. Thank you so much for tuning in on a regular basis. I'm excited for this episode because it is the start of a brand new series, the do's and don'ts of Forex trading. This is one of the most frequently asked questions in trading. People always want to know, what are the do's, what are the don'ts? So we thought this would be a great way to add tons of value to the channel and share with you some do's and don'ts. So speaking of episode 1, which I'm going to dive straight into, which is probably one of the most important. Why? Because it addresses far more than just the don't. So we're going to be starting off with a don't, but it addresses more of a psychological issue that people carry on into their trading. So we'll be discussing it in this video. So let's start off. Don'ts of trading. Don't take your foot off the gas in December. Why people are always asking, should I trade through the Christmas period? What about if there's a lack of liquidity? Should I still trade? I understand the logical side of when the market's a little bit slower, of course, I get it. Well, what I want you to do for this episode, I want you to really pay attention to these small details. You can see I've got a pen and pad with me. You can do exactly the same. I want you to write these things down. Right, when you're coming to this channel, I want to make sure you're taking as much value that you can apply into your day-to-day life as a trader as humanly possible. So why is it important? Well, let's assess momentum for one thing. One of the main reasons why you don't take your foot off the gas is because that's what unsuccessful traders do. So first and foremost, do you want to be in that category? No. So straight away, you know the answer. Don't take your foot off the gas. Why is that? Well, you lose momentum. And how do we build momentum? Well, we keep our foot on the gas. Think of it like this. Imagine that, let's look at heating, right? So imagine in your household, imagine you turned off all of the heating. Let's say you went on holiday, for example. People tend to just switch all their heating off. If you actually kept your heating at a consistent temperature, even if it was lower, right? So you're not completely switching it off, it doesn't have to work as hard to get back on. Where if you just turned your heating off completely, it would have to work a lot harder, use more energy, more time. So you want to be working smart and not hard. This is exactly the same thing. Think about it from a gym perspective. Let's say you're going into the gym and you're going to do bench press, right? For any of you that have done bench press before, you'll realize, imagine when you've pushed all the way and then you come all the way down and you've stopped. You've ever done like a pause rep? And when you've paused, you have to put all that energy again to push it back off. Think about with a deadlift. When you've done a deadlift before, if you're doing deadlifts and you've got a consistent motion, it's a lot easier than you doing a deadlift, dropping the weight and then picking it back up again. So imagine that feeling when you've dropped the weight and then you had to start all over again. It takes a lot more energy to pick up the weight again. This is momentum. So you're probably wondering, well, why is this relevant to me? You know, these are heating and fitness examples. The reality is this is what a lot of unsuccessful traders are doing in December. They always think, well, this is the time for me to switch off. You know, this is the time for me to relax. And this mentality, which what I was talking about earlier, about the psychological aspect, is that if you really want to win in this game, you have to develop a savage mentality. And you have to ask yourself, do you think that someone who's achieved 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, even high 6 figures, do you think that they got there by relaxing during the festive period? And by no means does this mean don't enjoy yourself, right? So what I aim to do in this video as well is give you a little tip and a hack that you can utilize so you can still enjoy yourself, but you know how to prioritize it and make the right sacrifices. So understanding that bigger picture is really, really important. Maybe in this December period, you're even thinking about backtesting more. Maybe you want to backtest. Imagine this, right? You mentally have checked out in December and you think, right, I still want to do a little bit of work, so I want to do some back testing. Imagine you go into a back testing session and let's say usually it lasts you 3 hours, for example. You do 1 hour and then you think, well, I'm going to go do something else now. And you completely go into a different state. You maybe go have some lunch, a couple of phone calls, you're on social media, whatever you do. And then you come back to the next part. You're out of the state. You have to work a lot harder to get back into the zone and into that flow. What's a more effective way? Well, if you're going to do 3 hours of backtesting, you actually do the 3 hours of backtesting, or you do them in half intervals, and then during that break period, it's like 5 minutes. You don't want to get yourself out of that state because then you have to work a lot harder. Again, it's the same thing. You take your foot off the gas and you have to work harder again. So I want you to take that into December because we see it a lot of unsuccessful people in life in general, they will be writing off December. They check out. As soon as the festive period comes, they think, I don't have to do anything. And then what happens? It it goes unpunished at the beginning and then you get punished later. So what I mean by this, and this has happened to all of us as traders. Have you ever felt this kind of slower instinct of the market where not really much is going on and price is a bit choppy, it's moving sideways, regardless of what system you trade. And then you take your foot off the gas, you get a bit more relaxed, and then before you know it, in an hour or two, the market starts to shift, it starts to move. You look back in hindsight and you see a trade that you would have capitalized on. And then you scratch your head thinking, why didn't I capitalize on that trade? Why didn't I get involved in that position? And it's because you took your foot off the gas. It's not the position that you didn't understand. It's the mentality of, well, I'm just gonna relax. And then you're not sharp, you're not focused, you're not prepared, and the unprepared always lose. So when you understand why that's so important, in December period, what do you think is gonna happen come January 1st? And you're going into 2022, you're setting your goals, you wanna achieve big things for 2022, yet you took so much time off, you're out of the flow, you're out of your routine, and you almost guarantee your own failure for Q1. And we see this all the time. If you reverse engineer it and you ask all the people that had a terrible Q1, you say, how was your routine? Just curious, what did you do in December? Okay, I've done this, I've done that. What about planning for the new year? Okay, I was kind of a bit slow to that. So yes, you've done it to yourself. So this should be the prompt to you to start thinking about, how can I get more prepared? How can I get ready for 2022? And how can I keep my foot on the gas so I don't fall into these traps of taking poor trades or starting off with a bad start. For example, let's say that you're not prepared, a couple of days into January comes along, 2022, and you've taken your foot off the gas, your eye off the ball quite a lot in other areas. So it could be things like your ASR, your journaling, you've kind of just taken a bit of a break. And then what happens, first week into the new year, you, let's say, miss a position. You psychologically are much more inclined, because you've started off with a bit of a loss, to then revenge trade. And then before you know it, you've taken another 2 or 3 losses, you're down -4, and you think, how did I get here? You know, I had these plans to have a successful year and I'm -4 straight off the bat. Well, it wasn't because of those trades, it's because of how you responded to them psychologically, because what did you do? You took your foot off the gas at the most important year. Most people will tell you, don't trade on a Monday. I've addressed this before on this channel. Don't trade on a Friday. Right, these are old myths. Don't trade in the Christmas period. There is plenty of opportunity. Q4 historically and Q1 is our most profitable quarters, which is why you definitely don't take your foot off the gas in December. So just a quick reminder, guys, if you're taking tons of value away from the channel, you've been enjoying our videos and you want to make sure that you are in the loop, make sure if you haven't already, you are subscribed to the channel, you like, you comment, you engage with us, and let us know your thoughts on these videos. We absolutely love doing them and we want to make sure that you're in the loop. Speaking of value, we want to make sure, check the links in the description. We have tons of gems there that will improve your trading journey. So just a quick reminder to you guys. Now let's get back to the video. But now moving on to the tip. How, because you're probably wondering, right, this is all well and good, Mark. However, how can I capitalize in December? What could I do in this festive period to make sure that I don't get sloppy, I stay sharp, and I can still prepare and take advantage of 2022? It's a good question. When you keep it simple, make sure you got your pen and pad, right? So what I like to do, and I've done this for years unconsciously, is something called the reward discipline system. And see it like this. Maybe you don't do 100 miles an hour as to maybe how you was working in October and November, because I get it. I'm still going to be enjoying time with family and friends in the festive period, for those of you that celebrate it, of course, but just generally in the festive period, this goes for everybody. You want to spend those time with your friends and family. I get it. I understand that. However, the discipline to reward system is going to help you stay sharp. So what I want you to do is, instead of thinking about, 5 to 7 or 10 things you want to do that day, just 3. 3 important disciplines that you need to do that day that keeps you sharp, that keeps your foot on the gas, and keeps you moving forward. And then once you've done those disciplines, and this can either be daily or weekly, right? I prefer it every single day because that's just how I work, that you have a reward system. And that reward system can be something very simple. Let's say your disciplines were backtesting, forecasting, and 2 hours of learning content, for example. Those are your disciplines, because you know by doing those with intention, it's going to move the needle in the direction of the goal of you becoming a funded trader, 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever the goal or ambition, wherever you are currently at your stage in your journey is. You pick those 3 disciplines that you do every day. You commit to them, you sign your name next to it, you're ready to tick it off. you know exactly what you need to do. Then you have a reward planned. Your reward could be a movie, right? It could be watching a movie, it could be a film, it could be anything. It could be even the gym, right? That could be your reward. Something that you know that you're looking forward to, that you want to enjoy, but they only happen when those disciplines are ticked off. You will be amazed at how that will push you. What it does is it doesn't overwhelm you with this kind of busier schedule during the festive period where you're thinking, yeah, but I have these plans and I have that. Maybe it's better that I just take a break. No, it's not good that you take a break. It's gonna do more damage to you going into 2022, and I've seen it year after year after year. The successful ones, they understand this little simple secret, which is just simple disciplines they can do every day and have a reward system. For me, I keep it simple every day. I have an hour to myself every day where that can consist of lots of things. That can be just downtime, it could be watching a movie, it could be watching sports, right? My reward system literally today is I'm gonna be watching sports later, I'm gonna be watching the football, right? But I will only do that because I prioritize all the things I need to do that day. I don't even feel good. I've trained my mind in a way that it genuinely doesn't feel good to reward myself unless I know that I've earned it. Pay your dues, as they say, right, in the gym. Because when you know you've worked for something and you've earned it, you have that good feeling about rewarding yourself, and that raises your self-esteem. It does a whole bunch of benefits to your trading longer term. So I want you to think about that right now, right? I want you to take this episode, you can pause it, come back to it, start thinking about during this festive period, if you have slightly taken your foot off the gas, you've not lost it just yet. You can gain back that momentum, and how you do that, 3 simple disciplines a day, and have to be 3 important things that is genuinely going to help you move towards that direction of you being a successful trader. And then you have a reward every day. So you either do it daily or weekly for the reward. Pick that, I promise you, and let us know in the comments once you've done this, or let us know if you're actually already doing something similar to this. I'll be really curious to know. However, pick that, tick it off. Once you've had the reward, it will become infectious. It will become contagious in such a positive way that you know you write those things down, you tick them off, and you reward yourself. And the compound of that will prepare you for 2022. This is one of the most vital things that you need to be doing in December. For any of you traders listening, I really hope that you do it. Out of all things that I've said right now, because I want you to get off to the best possible start in 2022, which is going to be a massive year of growth, especially what we've got planned at Falcon as well, which I'm super excited about. However, do this, it's going to help you massively, and let me know how you get on. Guys and girls, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you took immense value from this episode, and I will catch you in the next one.